there. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm Jane.
And I'm Ashley, and we're making it up.
Today we're talking about our makes.
I think, shall I start off by talking about what I'm wearing?
Yeah, I mean
we are definitely shaking today.
So colour coordinated, aren't we? It's almost like we planned it.
It is. Actually, I don't think we did. No, we didn't. I am wearing today something that I made this week. It's been a bit of a challenge, to be honest with you, but the pattern is by the Atelier Sweater. We've seen them a couple of times, haven't we? The stitch shows in Ali. So they have really lovely sort of classic patterns. They have some lovely fabrics as well that they make their clothes up in as samples. Yeah. So they're very classic. I would say they're probably for any age women, but they're quite a bit more different styles for sort of middle-aged women like us. So this is actually the boxy sweatshirt, but I've hacked it a little bit and I've added, I don't know if you can see there, I've added the puff sleeves from the Assembly Line's puff sleeve shirts. So I've made it out of, the fabric that I've made it out of is crepe.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's really soft, really and it's nice. Actually the first time I've made anything with crepe. So I found it not too bad to work with. I think I've done something a little bit wrong on the sleeves, but I think I know what I've done now. And I always struggle with the neckline, so I don't know if you can see here, the neckline sort of comes up high. I'm not sure, what would you call this? It's sort of a typical sweatshirt neckline, isn't it, really?
Yeah. And I think because you've tried to convert it over, because it's quite wide, I think maybe that's where you've got a little bit of gaping, but you've put in darts.
I put in a couple of darts, so I have got facing as well, in a bid to try and control, but I tend to have a bit of a problem where my necklines will go up, and I think we've talked about why that might be.
Yes. Do you stay stitch any of your necklines?
No, because I didn't realise what it did and how important it was. So I will definitely do that now.
Yes, because with obviously most necklines, because they're round, it means that you're going on the bias, and therefore, especially with a crepe and lightweight fabric, it's so easy to have it stretch out, and then you sort of get the bagging, which can cause it to stand up or sort of bag forward a little bit if you've accidentally stretched it as you've been sewing in a facing or a collar or a band or anything. So it's important to stay stitched.
So even though I was being really, really careful not to stretch it, because I've had this problem before and now we know why, and I always thought it was because I stretched the fabric, it's still done it. So my next trial on this type of thing will be to stay stitch.
You can use stay tape as well, so if you don't want to stay stitch around it, you can get very thin, it's like interfacing in a tape form, and some of it's for stretch fabrics where that's cut on the bias, so you can curve it round and just iron it.
Okay.
And then it gives you makes it slightly thicker, and then it's easier to turn under and stitch afterwards as well, so it's worth trying that.
So yeah, and I'm not sure how much you'll be able to see with me standing up. I've got this tucked in. I've made it, I made it quite long intentionally so that I could tuck it into jeans. So yeah, it's sort of, it's one of those tops I think that you can dress it up or dress it down. Often when we go into the office, particularly if it's a Friday, we'll wear jeans, and I would feel quite comfortable wearing this into an office.
That's nice. So we'll put pictures of the pattern here.
Yeah. The fabric, actually, I just mentioned, the crepe I got from Messan in Goldhawk Road. So it's sort of almost like a lavender colour. It's actually a really nice colour.
It's a lovely colour. And how did you find that? How long did it take you to sew up?
I think if I hadn't had the problems with the neck, it probably would have taken me about an hour and a half. Yeah, I don't think much more than that. Okay. But it was the neck has been the thing that's caused me. I sort of made it, left it, thought about it, unpicked it, made it. So yeah, about an hour and a half. But it's good. It was good make.
So nice quick make. And we'll put some pictures of you in it here.
And what have you been making?
Okay, so this is following on from our last vlog. I have made a simplicity, it's a pattern from a simplicity dress, and I'm just going to check the number. It is S8835. It's for stretch fabrics. I knew that I wasn't going to wear it as a dress, so I've made it as a top. I'm going to stand up and hopefully this works. So you can see that I've just on the pattern when I was cutting out marked where the hips came to, and I've stopped it there. It's fitted around the bottom, and then it just straight over your face. And then it just bags out. I think I like the back more than I like the front because it's got a nice sort of profile of where it's all baggy and gathered around the back. So there are a few things with this. I've made this from viscose jersey I got from Gold Hawk Road from Gold Brick Fabrics. So this was $8.95. It's lovely and soft. It's very, very drapey. It's good for a back wing top, but the pattern under the bust line is a little bit too high, so it's always rising up, and I always want to pull it down. I've got a top underneath this, by the way. I'm not going to expose myself. So I'm always kind of pulling it down so it feels more comfortable, and it's kind of stretching up. And the other thing with this is because it's nice soft drapey fabric, it does show all your lumps and bumps. So I think
not that she has any people.
I have quite a few. So I think if I'm going to make this in the future, I would probably use a slightly more heavier weight jersey fabric. With regards to making up, it's quite a simple pattern. It took maybe about an hour and a half. It's got nice features, as in that, you know, it's got the nice gathering of the sleeves here. Cuff.
And I think this gathering effect here is really lovely.
Yeah, it's a nice design feature.
It's quite Grecian.
Yes, I feel like yeah.
Greek goddess, isn't it?
What can I say? It's got a nice feature where this has actually got 6mm elastic, so it doesn't bag, and it's got it around the back neck, and it actually has elastic here as well, so it really helps it keep its shape. Because I've made it in viscose jersey, I haven't actually finished the seams off at all. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't overlock them. It's not going to fray. So normally if I make something out of this type of fabric, I will overlock them. Because it's so thin, I was a little bit worried about the overlocking actually showing on it, especially when you iron it as well. Yeah. Sometimes you can get it and it rubs and it goes all shiny and you can see the seams, and I don't like that.
I've had that before.
Yeah, so I decided not to finish the seams. It's got a seam down the centre back, and normally, as you know, I just disregard putting a seam down the centre back. For some reason I decided to put the seam down the centre back, but you don't need it. I did stay stitch my necklines.
I'm sure you did.
Told me to. Right, so that's that. So this is quite a nice one. Again, we will put the picture of the pattern here. And the other thing I have made are the sew over it. I don't know if they're the Mia or the Maya jeans, but these are a skinny jeans pattern. Again, I'm going to stand up and breathe in at the same time. There we go. So these are a skinny jeans pattern. There's no front pockets, which I actually quite like because it gets rid of the bulk.
Really lovely.
When you have bulk. I've had this fabric in my stash for a long time, and I can't remember where I got it from. Now, because they're skinny jeans, you're supposed to, I'm going to sit down carefully, because you're supposed to make these jeans with 20% stretch.
Right. No stretch. No stretch.
There's not a lot of stretch in there. So what I've done is I've cut it out slightly bigger than the pattern. I've used a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and they're they're not skinny and they're not straight. So I'm going to call them my slinky jeans, because they're
Slinky jeans is a good name that might catch on.
Yeah.
They are really lovely, and they're similar to, you've got some from the White Company, didn't you?
Yes.
Some skinny cords, and they are, I think they're nicer actually. The colour is amazing. It's almost like a bit of a petrol blue,
yeah,
isn't it?
The fabric is absolutely lovely. And I do remember when I bought it, it was advertised as stretch cord, and when I got it, it was like, there's no stretch. So again, more pictures and the pattern will follow. I love
that though, when you find something and you forget you've had it. I sometimes do that. I go through my stash and I think, oh, I forgot I bought that. And then you've suddenly got the right pattern to match up with
everything
the fabric.
Comes together at the same time. You get really excited. But I think we spoke about this before, where I found fabric in my stash and gone, where has this come from? Did I buy this? Don't remember.
Or you buy something because you absolutely love it, and then you sort of seem to love it as a flat bit of fabric, and then when you get it back and start making it into something. I've done that a couple of times with some quite expensive Japanese fabric, and I've just, what have I bought that for? So I need to try and learn colour-wise and fabric type which things I like and which I don't.
Yeah.
So, what else are we going to show?
Well, we're going to get cosy.
Are we daring enough to show our gym jams?
I think we should. There's only a couple of people watching. It's fine. It's fine, you know. So we have also been making pyjamas, night dresses, dressing gowns, and we're going to get changed and show you those next.
We'll be back in a sec. What do you think?
Our evening wear. Evening wear, that sounds quite posh. Pyjamas, we're in our pyjamas.
Mine's evening wear, if you don't mind.
Well, I was going to say, one of us have gone for the very posh, sophisticated, stylish look, and the other one's gone for like practical / healthcare worker style. So it's fine.
And it's the wrong way round, because I think that I should probably have the healthcare worker stuff on, and you should have the posh stuff on.
This is what you wear to. I can imagine
when
you
I
going
walks
around your house.
I do walks around. I'm like, excuse me, I'm in my silk robe.
Exactly. You need like a martini,
Get me some champagne,
a martini or
cocktail.
something. Like yes,
daiquiri.
Yes.
So, shall we talk about this one first?
Go for it.
So this is, and I will stand up in a second, and I will put some pictures on here as well. So this fabric is, sorry,
you put your arm around it.
My arm around you. This fabric is silk from one of the stores
you got this from
in
a show, didn't you?
Yes, Rosenberg and Son Fabrics, and they are usually at the Stitch shows.
Yeah.
So it was £40 a metre. It says it's Italian silk. I actually think I used I think I used 2 meters for this.
Did they
no,
do
maybe
it in
2.5.
panels?
They did actually. Yes, they did it in panels, and you'll see, especially on the picture, and if I stand up in a moment. So they were in panels. It's got 2 of these giraffes on each panel. So I've got one on the front and one on the back. So you're right, I did buy 2 panels, and I think actually they're about, I had in total about maybe 2.6 metres. Okay. And I know it cost me £80. And then I loved it so much that I ordered another 2 panels for another £80. And I've actually got a night dress made out of this, and I've got a top. So I did go a bit mad on it. I think it was last year. And this dressing gown pattern was just one from a magazine. It was one you gave me actually, just from a magazine, and I am really pleased with it. I think what I like is I've sort of doubled up on the fabric for this part of the sleeve, so it hangs. It's quite weighty, and the fabric's quite weighty anyway. It's a thick silk. It's not a thin silk. And yeah, it took me. I mean, I was very nervous of cutting this because it was sort of, for me, it was quite an expensive fabric buy,
and you hadn't been sewing for that long either, had you? You kind of went from, I can't really sew, I'll make myself a silk dressing gown, and I was a bit like, okay then, that'll be fine.
So I remember laying it all out on the floor because it was too big to put anywhere else, and I think I was sending you pictures of it going through as I was cutting it, and Jane was like, have you cut it yet? And I'm like, no, I'm about to, and it was really scary, but I love the results. It is lovely. Let me just stand up, so it's got belts, and there you can just about see the drafts on the back, and then this front panel has drafts. I mean, it's quite tricky to get it to fit it all into.
It would show the best.
Yeah, I think that probably you're better off seeing it in a.
We're gonna insert
in a photo.
pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but no, I loved making it. I didn't actually wear it for about 6 months because I was scared I might ruin it. And I started now to wear it a bit more. I guess the only thing I would say is it's no good if you need to go into the kitchen and do any food prep or anything, because it's quite flappy.
In a way, yeah.
But it does make you feel nice, and I do
it's nice for waltzing around on a weekend.
Yeah, because I've got lots of time to do that.
Yeah, of course.
And the other thing, just very quickly, underneath is a silk, and again we'll put pictures of this, but I'm not sure how much you can see of this, but this is a night dress that I've made out of an offcut of silk that we bought from Miss Anne in Goldhawk Road, and I think this literally cost, I think there was about 2 meters of it, and it cost about £12, and I often buy, I've made 3 night dresses that are just out of offcuts of silk. Probably cost us say £10 each, and your time. Again, I don't think actually I'm going to stand up because I don't think it's
going to like take your.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. No, no one needs to see that.
YouTube. Are you not really? No.
We'll have even less views if I do that. But it's made out of a cami top pattern, and I've just extended it so it comes to just below the knees. I have made some dresses out of this sort of pattern as well. But yeah, simple, easy. Again, really lovely to wear to bed. Yeah.
This is the Closet Case Carolyn Pyjamas pattern. I think this is my 4th pair. I do like these. So I have made this from, I think it's called Lightweight Luggage Cotton from Croft Mill. I have a feeling it was only £6 a metre, but I might need to check that. It's beautiful cotton. It washes really well. It sews really well. The binding I've made, I'm just doing this here, you can't see this. The binding I've made from an old skirt, it's white linen, and I just cut it up. But I think I've made it a bit too thick, which is why it reminds me of a uniform, really. I think I should have done it thinner. This pattern sews up really nicely. It's not a quick sew. I'm going to stand up so you can see without falling over, hopefully. It's fitted, so the bottoms are quite fitted. It's quite tailored pyjamas. There's lots of nice detail like the pocket, the lapels, the cuffs. There are different variations in the pattern, whether you have it with the binding or just have straight sleeves, and the same with the trousers.
I have to say, it is sickeningly neat. I've just been looking at it. There is not one error on it. It is so neat. And I know you probably don't want to shut. Oh, that's what I was just going to say. Show the waistband, because it is just so lovely and neat. It's amazing. I've made a few of these pajama bottoms and shorts out of them, and I can tell you mine aren't like that.
So it's nice to sew up, nice to wear. I would say the instructions, because it's closet case, instructions are always really, really good. There seems to be like a gazillion pattern pieces when you're cutting it out though, so you have to be prepared that you're in for the long haul, that there are loads of pattern pieces, you'll need to interface them, some of them, and you could probably do it in an afternoon, but it's going to take you about 2 or 3 hours easily to sew these up, but well worth it, I think, because the style of them and the cut of them and the fit of them is really, really good.
And I think, you know, some of your others that you've made with some really funky fabrics, I think what's really lovely about making your own pyjamas and nightwear is that you can have it exactly how you want it to be. It can be really loud, it can be really funky, a bit crazy, and it's because it's nightwear, I think you can just sort of go that extra step, because nobody else really is going to see it.
I've got some very unusual
Yes, I think
fabric
we'll have
that
to do.
I'm not sure whether I have pictures of those or not, but yes, it's good.
So I think we're all about sweatshirts, aren't we, next week?
We are, yes. Yeah, some nice little good projects coming up next week. And
in our last vlog, we talked about the spotty sweatshirt fabric that I didn't know what to make with. So I'm going to, have a go at making a sweat top with that. Slightly nervous about the neck, but I'll see how I get on. I've had some
stay stitch it
now
now
as
unstitch
well.
it. You're going to understitch it and stay stitch it. Do all sorts of stitching.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have a go at doing that next week.
Yeah.
What about you?
And yes, I am going to mix up some sweatshirt patterns to just sort of make my own style of sweatshirt using the Cricut or Cricut, can't remember which way you say it, to put some embellishments on that, so they'll be quite fun. Fabric haul this week. I have got some fabric from the lovely Cheryl at Stitchy Bee. I've got a little bit of this because I've already cut out some more Mia jeans from Sew Over It. This has got a slight stretch and it's black cotton, so I'm going to be making those up this week and to show next week. And I've also got 2 lots of the, I think she calls it her perfect jersey. So this one, if I hold this up for you here, this is in a mid blue. It's not really a marl, but it's
really nice actually.
So this is, it's kind of like a mid-weight.
And it feels robust enough to not stretch.
Yes.
So it's not
got
too
really
heavy,
good
but
recovery.
it's not like a sort of a legginy type stretchy.
No. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a sweatshirt pattern that I'm just going to hold it all the way up like that so you can have a good close look. And I've got 1.5 meters of this, and this is quite wide. And then I've also got from Stitchy Bee the grey version.
Yeah,
And
very
again,
nice as
this
well.
is nice and soft, but a really good weight. Again, with going to make a sweatshirt in this. So that's what I'm going to be next week. What about you?
Well, and I've got this again.
No one's given us ideas for this. Thanks, guys.
So I'm just going to go for it, and I think I'm going to make a sweatshirt. And I might actually, I also quite fancy making some sort of almost like a hybrid between sweatshirt bottom, sweatshirt sort of jogger type things and pajama bottoms. So maybe ribbed at the ankle joggers. I clearly will not be wearing them out.
Just wondering if you could.
Yeah, mix and match. I've got some blue actually. I've got some this sort of blue at home maybe. So yeah, I want to make something with it because I am drawn to it. I do like it, but I know it's not going to be something I'd wear out. So yeah,
I dare you.
Look out for this next week. She can dare me all she likes. I'm not doing it. So yeah,
We'll
that's
be back
next week.
Yeah,
And
next Friday.
yeah, may the sun continue. It's a beautiful day.
It's lovely, isn't it, for a change?
And well, we'll be back soon.
Thanks very much for stopping by.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Right, okay.
Ready?
Okay.
No.
What?
We're back. What do you think? Oh no, he's coming.
Oh. No, look at the state of me.
Evie! My God's got Jimmy Jams on. Evie! Look, she won't, she's just at the door.
Do you want to be my accessory? You stink.
What are you wearing? Oh, you got the thing on. Am I interrupting something?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh.
What?
Getting into your nightwear.
We're
What sort of
it.
video is this?
I know.
We're trying to appeal to
go like
bigger
this.
audience.
I can't do that. It's got a bra on. I think we need to have a face on the man because I keep forgetting to look at him.
Getting to look at him as well.
What man?
This man.
The robot.
Oh, just looking at.
I know.
Can we have a hat for him?
Yeah. We need a red thing that says a big flag.
look
that
at
goes,
me.
Look here.
Yeah, put a little red dot right in the middle of it.
No.
That would work.
We need to
Evie.
stand something.
Is this recording? Right, ready?
I calm yourself.
Okay.
God, it's gonna be one of those things, isn't
Really?
it? No.
Right. Are we going to say we're back?
Right. Yes, we're back in our night.
What do you think? For God's sake.
I'm really trying not to cry and laugh and cry. Pull myself together.
Ready?
No. Did you ever get to the point where you thought you'll be filming too? I know there's like 17 people looking at us on YouTube, but sitting there in your nightie.
Right.
I'll pull myself together. I won't, but you know I will. Oh, look. Okay, so
Yours.
shall we go into my utility wear? Okay, so this is the closet case Carolyn pajamas. You'll cut the point where I'm paying for the words to come. What am I doing?
Right, so start again from this end.